Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your weather hazard briefing for the new week. Welcome to Monday, July 11th. So looking over the course of today and Tuesday, high pressure is going to be in control across the region, mostly sunny skies, very light winds, not much to worry about there, and warming temperatures once again across the region. That heat is especially going to return in earnest Tuesday. Not quite so oppressive today, but Tuesday onward, expecting that return with highs soaring into the mid-90s for many of our lower elevation locales on Tuesday. Might be able to pull off an isolated thunderstorm on Tuesday evening down toward Cache County, especially in the mountains. Going to see just a hint of maybe some monsoon moisture trying to creep up this direction from the south. Chances about 20% or even a little less right now down there, so most of the region quite dry through Tuesday, but increasing chances of some of that monsoon moisture as we go through the week. Stepping forward to Wednesday and Thursday, our heat is going to peak on Wednesday, warmest readings across the region, but at the same time, that increasing monsoon moisture will lead to a chance of some showers and thunderstorms, especially over the mountains, and some increasingly breezy conditions as well. High temperatures may reach 100 degrees or so Wednesday from places like Pocatello, west into the eastern Magic Valley, including Shoshone and Burley, and into the southern Highland valleys. And we're going to have to start watching out for critical fire weather concerns once again, that concern increasing as we go through the week. That could be both due to thunderstorm coverage in some areas, again, especially in the mountains with lightning and gusty erratic outflow winds, hazards there, but also just regional winds and low relative humidity values going to be becoming an issue as well. And of course, some of our fire weather partners tell us not all of the fuels are necessarily what we call critical yet. We still have some moisture out there that may play a role in what areas might be in line for consideration for a red flag warning on any given day. But again, general trend is we will have to start paying attention to some critical fire weather concerns as the week goes on. So taking a look at our weather risk outlook here across the region, there's actually a lot going on here. Your mileage will vary here a little bit. We're not expecting a big flood or a hurricane or like a widespread severe weather event coming in, but again, if you're a fire weather partner, there are some risks here to take a look at. If you are planning outdoor recreation, outdoor activities, or you're sensitive to the heat, definitely some risks and concerns here that you want to be aware of as we go through the week. Looking pretty good across the region here today. As we step forward into Tuesday, we start to build that heat, particularly across the Snake Plain, into the eastern Magic Valley, the southern hills, across the southern highlands, and up into the Chalice area as well. Again, maybe that isolated evening thunderstorm down near the Utah border or into the terrain there in Cache County. Wednesday, here we go to a moderate risk, especially across the Snake Plain, eastern Magic Valley, and those hills and valleys down across the south with warmest readings as far as temperature goes across the region. We start to get a little breezier in a few areas as well, and this is our best chance of thunderstorms with some of that monsoon moisture pushing north into the region. So isolated to scattered thunderstorm coverage is expected just about everywhere as you go into Wednesday afternoon and evening. Thursday and Friday, some heat. We back off just a few degrees, but some of those heat concerns linger across most of the region. Still some breezy conditions, particularly Thursday. So we said Wednesday is our best candidate for thunderstorms. Thursday may be our windiest day currently in the forecast over the next 5 days, and we'll show you that here graphically in just a moment. Still some isolated thunderstorms lingering as well, especially in some of our highland and mountain areas through the end of the week. As we open things this morning, no watches, warnings, or advisories to be concerned about, so in good shape there. And a look at the satellite loop showing clear skies and no problems out there across the region early this morning. So let's step through each day here, and the focus is going to be the heat. So what I'm showing you here is high temperatures, our forecasted high temperatures here on the left. And then over on the right is a graphic that we call heat risk. And instead of just looking at the high temperature, this heat risk graphic takes several other things into consideration. It's looking at the temperature, it's looking at overnight recovery, so how cool can we get during the overnight to provide a little bit of relief. It's looking at climatology, it's looking at some CDC health thresholds, trying to provide a more holistic picture of what that risk may look like due to the heat. So today, temperatures generally topping out in the 80s for most areas, maybe close to 90 as you get down into the eastern Magic Valley, places like Shoshone, very close to that for a reading here in Pocatello, and generally low heat risk across the region today. We start to ramp up a little bit Tuesday. So here come those high temperatures surging into the 90s, mid 90s expected across most of the Snake Plain, Eastern Magic Valley, and southern valleys. Even some upper 90s, possibly creeping into the Magic Valley and toward the Shoshone area. 98 our forecast high in Pocatello, a bit cooler 93 up in Idaho Falls, 88 up in Stanley. And you can see expanding orange here on our heat risk graphic on the right. That anywhere you see orange here, we're going to start to see a greater heat risk for sensitive groups, people who are sensitive to the heat, possibly people who are going to be out trying to do recreation and work in the heat, or people who are sensitive to being hydrated are going to want to use extra caution here. Again, maybe that isolated evening thunderstorm down in Cache County as well. Wednesday, here's the peak of our heat for our forecast for the week right now. 100 degrees, the official current forecast out in Shoshone, but very close to that across most of our other population centers here in the Eastern Magic Valley, Lower Snake Plain, down into the southern valleys once again. 99 in Pocatello, 94 even up in Chalice, and getting up into the upper 80s here in the Island Park area. Widespread orange here showing up on our heat risk. Again, that's a risk for sensitive groups. And even some red. Once we see some red shading start to appear in our graphic here, that means that the heat is going to be hazardous for everyone, even if you're not normally sensitive to it. So again, definitely something to keep in mind this week, that this is going to be a hazard for you or a risk for you out there across southeast Idaho. Remember, best chance of thunderstorms is Wednesday as well, and that covers the entire forecast area. I'm going to show you also for our fire weather partners, here's our wind gust forecast and our afternoon minimum relative humidity forecast for Wednesday afternoon. Not quite as bad as Thursday, we'll show you that in a minute, but you can see here we're forecasting wind gusts of 20 to maybe 30 miles an hour across the Central Mountain region and a few other terrain areas here in southeast Idaho. So again, not all of our fuels are quite dried out or quite critical yet for some of these areas, but certainly some of the finer grasses are in some localized areas where we've already seen some fires here over the past few weeks that have spread quite quickly in the finer grasses. So the wind and RH certainly going to be a concern out there. Relative humidity values over here on the right, and you can see they are dropping below 15%, which is a threshold that we use for critical conditions here across portions of the Arco Desert into the Eastern Magic Valley and a few other spots. Thursday, we back off just a couple degrees on the high temperatures. Again, Wednesday is the warmest, but readings still into the 90s for almost everyone across southeast Idaho here on Thursday. You can see, once again, orange heat risk values, looking at some risk there for sensitive groups or those who are going to be outdoors during the heat of the day. Remember, Thursday's our breeziest day, so here's another look for particularly our fire weather partners of peak wind gusts and low relative humidity values for Thursday afternoon. Currently forecasting 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts here across much of the Central Mountain region up into Lemhi County as well, and then down across a decent portion of the Snake Plain and Arco Desert corridor here with wind gusts exceeding 20 miles an hour across the rest of the region. And you can see over here on the right relative humidity values during the afternoon, once again over a pretty wide area falling at 15% or lower as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. So another day to certainly be fire weather aware. Finally, Friday, continued warm, upper 80s to mid 90s, even some upper 90s once again across the Eastern Magic Valley. Very similar heat risk picture across the region as well, so the heat is not going anywhere. Some heat safety graphics for you here. We're going to continue to share some of these out on social media as well over the course of the week. Remember, never leave people or pets alone in a car. It's very dangerous. We see a lot of fatalities every year because of this. Drink plenty of water, even if you don't feel thirsty. Remember to wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing when you're outdoors. And remember to take some breaks. Shade is good. Air conditioning is better when it's hot out there. Also, a reminder on some of the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So definitely, if you're going to be out recreating or out working, definitely keep an eye on each other and look out for some of these signs of heat-related illness. Finally, a look ahead at the 6 to 10 day period here. Precipitation chances below normal. currently being favored, and above normal temperatures unfortunately favored as well. So a continued hot, dry pattern is in the cards. And stepping forward out to 2 weeks, this is the 8 to 14 day period, continued below normal chances of precipitation, looking at the various climate signals we monitor, and again, above normal temperatures are in favor here, going all the way out to July 24th. And that's a look at everything we're looking at this week. Again, hot, dry across most of the region, but with some increasing monsoon moisture as we go forward. Definitely remember your heat safety and keep an eye out on increasing chances of critical fire weather concerns as we head into the latter part of the week. That's it for your briefing today. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, need support, we are here at the office 24/7. You can reach out via the information shown on this screen. Everyone have a great Monday.